It's no use, chat. Drawing's impossible. I'm never gonna finish anything, ever. I sort of took a few days break from working on the manga, and it only made it worse. I think the moral of the story here is to never ever stop moving and working on the thing you're supposed to be working on. Thank God it's Friday, right? See, unlike you guys, I don't have to go to work on Monday, but it also means I don't have to not go to work on Saturday and Sunday either. Every day is fun day for me. Just endless drawing time. Everyone is too hot for streams. I have really nice weather in my area right now, actually. I think it's something to do with the hurricane or some shit. Like, the hurricane blasted the other states, and then we're getting, like, whatever weather from the hurricane, and now it's okay. It's very nice. Oh, please, AI-sama! Please save me! AI-sama, draw this manga instead of me, please. Please. Don't get rid of death. What's up, chat? How are we doing today? I was doing okay, and now I'm doing, like, despair. What is she slurping? Tea. There's a guy on the Japanese internet that posted on Twitter photos of himself jacking off into a jar of honey at his work and thinking about how his co-worker females were using the honey to drink their tea. And the very minor amount of reflection that was in the spoon of the photo he posted gave the internet detectives enough information to determine which office he worked at, and he got fired and sent to court. So the moral of that story is don't share shit on social media, I guess. Don't goon on company dime. I mean, you can goon on company dime. You just can't do it into the pot of honey. The literal honey pot. And then post it on social media. And assume that nobody will ever be able to determine who you are. Columbo was on the fucking case. When there's like 10,000 eyeballs on you on the internet, it's pretty easy to figure out who you are. And as soon as they figure out what office it is, they can probably figure out who the creepy-ass guy who's most likely out there, you know, coming into the honey jar is, so it's probably not that hard. Hey Hotor. Is it Hodor? Hotor0. Thanks for the Prime sub. I appreciate the support. Columbo was in The Princess Bride. Was he? I can't even remember. Princess Bride has got to be way up there among my most overrated movies. Movies that I find myself most annoyed that other people absolutely love. I went to the local movie theater that wasn't a chain movie theater to watch Princess Bride, and it was a fucking packed house. And there was a guy sitting in front of me, a man, who was mouthing literally every single line of the movie as he was watching it. And I've never been to that theater ever again. And I have stopped going to movie theaters in general after that. Sometimes it's best to just cut off all contact with society instead of having to deal with that shit ever again. You're not an Anne Hathaway simp? Is Anne Hathaway in Princess Bride? Like as the kid? I don't know. I don't know anything about Anne Hathaway's movieography. I thought Columbo was that detective middle-aged woman love. Doesn't everybody love Columbo? I don't know. That's what I was thinking as well. Oh! I mix that up all the fucking time with Princess Diaries. Kill me, crucify me. You should be very careful about whatever pop culture statements you make on this chat, because we're going to call you out for it and you're going to be very embarrassed. Don't ever mistake Good Charlotte for Sum 41. Or Oasis for the Beatles. Not on this stream. We won't allow it. Don't look back in anger. I heard her say. Japanese people, they really took a liking to Columbo. Japanese people just like murder mysteries in general. There's some really great Japanese murder mysteries that Americans won't get to experience because I don't think they're properly translated. Japan definitely likes murder mysteries more than America does. I mean, they have freaking Detective Conan going on for 7,000 volumes, so... So, like, you know what kind of content we need our children to be watching? It's, we need the kids to see someone get murdered every single week. It's the only way. Can we get 1 trillion volumes? Kind of. The author isn't dead yet, but it's fully in mass production situation where the death of the author will not stop more Detective Conan from being made at all. So from that perspective, it's just going to keep on going, that's for sure. You won't be able to stop it. The Germans love police shows. They have like 20 different Sonderkommando shows. I assume this is different from like the Agatha Christie murder mystery setup. Japan has very few police shows, especially nowadays, I think. It's not police, it's the standard Agatha Christie detective shows up. It's just you solve the crime. If there's one thing that we know about Germany, it's that they enjoy law and order and following rules and shit. So it makes sense that they're like, yes, to relax, I'm gonna watch a police procedure. To be fair, America has like a shit ton of police shows as well, except there are other types of shows being disguised as police procedurals, like NCIS Sex Crimes Unit, where every TV show, your favorite detectives show up and they're like, this man died by being raped in the ass by a giant Frankfurter. And then Ice-T is like, heh. He makes a joke about processed meat, and then they have to go and like find the real murderer at the Tyson food plant or whatever. I don't know. I haven't watched actually any episodes of NCIS ever. I want procedural format to come back. You just have to watch Law and Order forever, I guess. Enough with these 10-episode high-budget shitfest serials. I just don't like TV as a whole. Even Dave Simon stuff, which are like considered to be the best TV has to offer, I never have liked it that much, so I definitely can't just park my ass and watch Law and Order for an hour and be okay with that. I didn't even finish The Wire, despite buying the DVD box set, because I heard it was the best TV show ever. I watched the end of season 3 of The Wire, and I was just like, you know what? I've watched enough. I think I'm good. I haven't been able to watch your streams in a while due to work. I hope you're doing well, and also I need a tsundere knight to sit on me. In full plate, I assume. Go-Go 13 exists because the author wanted to continue writing James Bond stories without running into trouble. And it will also go on forever, just like James Bond. I have to admit, I enjoy Go-Go 13 significantly more than I like James Bond, just as a person. He doesn't fuck around, he just shoots you. If any of the James Bond supervillains had to deal with someone like Go-Go 13, they'd just get murdered before they could even encounter him. He's significantly more competent than James Bond. Before they could have their Mr. Bond, here we meet scene, they'd just be fucking dead, so... Couldn't get past the first episode of Succession. I kind of want to watch Succession. I don't have HBO. I refuse to pay money for TV because I know that I get bored with it so much, so... If it just shows up for free on Amazon Prime, my mother's Amazon Prime, I watch it. But I know that I just don't have the patience for the TV format and the speed at which their plot points come out, so... Golgo doesn't even pretend to be a good guy. It's very unclear what Golgo is thinking. Besides being an ultra hot professional masculine man. Gotta infiltrate, stalk, and seduce before facing the Bond villain. 90% of James Bond's fights end with him like, either being lucky or having fucked the right woman a few days ago. Like, half the time when James Bond doesn't get killed, it's because he's sleeping with some random woman and she gets murdered instead of him. And he's like, oh no, what a tragedy. By sleeping with this random woman, she's been poisoned by ninjas instead of me. Anyways, next scene. Fucking body count is just... He's probably killed as many women as... that he's been sleeping with as, like, the total number of villains he's killed at this point. What a Giga Chad. Treating women the way they should be treated. As a random woman to be picked up and used as bullet shields, I guess. Didn't Sean Connery said James Bond would die because of STDs and alcohol overdose? Yes. Well, I don't know if he said that, but it checks out. Unfortunately, James Bond is a corporate IP, so he cannot die out. No corporate IP is allowed to die out at this point. Name one character in which, like, it was owned by a corporation instead of an individual, in which they had a moment where they were like, this is it, guys. This is the last season. This is the last thing of this one character. He's really going to be dead and gone now. You really have to watch this movie. And then the character actually died off and we never saw them again. I'm especially thinking about Godzilla, because they were making a huge big deal about saying goodbye to Godzilla in the 90s. Godzilla versus Destoroyah. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe Godzilla's gonna die. I was innocent at the time. I did not understand the concept of you're not going to kill off somebody in a foam suit. Han Solo got killed and he was a fan favorite. Yeah, he got killed because the actor is like, I'm literally never going to play this part again. So you better fucking kill me off to get your dramatic moment, because I don't want you to ever, ever, ever ask me to come and play in another Star Wars movie, okay? So Harrison Ford is finally free. And then eventually Marvel started doing that for all their characters, where the actor was like, I don't ever want to show up in Atlanta to fucking shoot shit on a green screen ever again. Everybody started saying that, so it became extremely predictable when they would start to retire their characters. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man is dead. Who would have thought that he wouldn't want to do any more Marvel productions after doing 15 movies and wasting his entire life on this shit? I will gladly play in another crappy Indiana Jones movie. Yeah. I mean, Harrison Ford is just like an adrenaline junkie, so he's like, I have to jump off that train, I have to fly my own plane. He's coming back, LMAO. It doesn't matter even if Harrison Ford is dead. They'll be able to CGI him if they want to. There's a brief window in which franchises might try and sunset out a character if they think that it's too deeply associated with the actor, and they're just going to retire the character instead of trying to find a replacement actor. But what just either happens is they're either going to find a CGI replacement, or they're just going to cast someone new after a while. R-Day... Doctor Doom. Yes. I can't say RDJR. Isn't it easier to just say Robert Downey Jr. than try and abbreviate his long-ass fucking name? It's not the same, though, because he's not showing his face, for one thing. But yes, he's coming back. It turns out that he likes the paychecks. It's also a different character, which probably makes it a lot easier for actors to swallow the pill. I liked how in the original Mission Impossible, the original main character got turned into a villain, and the original actor of said character didn't want to reprise his role because of that. Are you talking about Mission Impossible 1, the movie? I don't follow how the Mission Impossible franchise has been evolving and stuff, because it's such a vehicle for Tom Cruise, and there are many situations in which I find him kind of unbearable. I just like to say that I just watched Mission Impossible, goddamn, I can't remember the subtitle, the newest one. What's the fucking newest Mission Impossible Part 1? The End of the World Due to ChatGPT Part 1, because it was on Amazon Prime, and holy shit, that movie's fucking awful. I really like the previous Mission Impossible, where it had Henry Cavill with a mustache beating the shit out of people. Henry Cavill just like looking big and strong. I enjoyed that experience quite a bit, and I thought what was it? Fallout? Was Fallout the second to most recent one? I thought that one was actually a pretty solid movie with nice, serious plot points. And the most recent one, what the fuck is it called? I can't remember. I can't believe I just watched this like 10 minutes ago, guys. Oh, Dead Reckoning. It's not my fault I can't remember these fucking subtitles, because they're all like super nondescript, and it's impossible to differentiate from one or the other. All of the Mission Impossible subtitles, they're like Fallout, Rogue Nation, Ghost Protocol, Dead Reckoning. It's just like, what the fuck is this shit? Anyways, the entire movie is just like one extremely long MacGuffin chase around. For all the people who complained about Star Wars Return of the Jedi or whatever, and they're like, we're tired of people chasing after some magical box or something. Well, that's the entire fucking movie of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Also, I'm pretty sure Tom Cruise put in a lot of notes on the writing of the film, because the entire film is about how nice he is to women. It's just one scene after another in which he saves women. It feels like I'm reading a movie version of a isekai manga or novel written by like a complete amateur who just wants to look like he's really nice to women. IMF gets compromised yet again? No. That can't be. But Impossible Mission Force trademark is the most impossible mission force in the country. How could this be? It feels like a Sunday morning cartoon, and not in a good way. There's way worse than Tom Cruise in that department. Just look at Steven Seagal. What, in terms of saving fictional women in his movies? Hollywood hates numbers because they scare audience away. What about the Fast franchise, which is literally one of the best-selling movie franchises on the planet? They're just like Fast 5, Fast 6, Fast 7, Fast 8, Fast 9. Personally, I'm way more scared away by the fact that the movie is 2.5 hours and it's only part 1. If you want me to get out and go to the theater and the runtime is like more than 2 hours long, I ain't going. I'm definitely not going if it's close to 3 hours, that's for sure. It better be like fucking Lawrence of Arabia or something. Just cast myself as Kung Fu Master but Westerner and get the Asian Poon. Also, make sure I don't have to move very much. That's also very important. Fight people while I'm still sitting down and stuff. And then also claim that I'm a martial artist. Steven Seagal is a miracle of marketing. Can't wait for next Rush Hour. Steven Seagal claims he fought off Yakuza. To be fair, that's not as ludicrous a claim ludicrous a claim as you might think it is, because Yakuza are just normal people who are prone to violence because they live in that kind of a situation. It's not like they're martial artists themselves. There was a situation in Japan recently where some Yakuza or semi-Yakuza guy showed up at a Vietnamese restaurant, and I can't remember why he specifically was angry, but he went in and started punching the owner of the restaurant, who was Vietnamese, and one of the owner's Vietnamese co-workers just went into the back, pulled out some knives, and stabbed the Yakuza to death. And Japan was like, good job, Vietnam. Do more of that. Get fucked, Yakuza. Anybody who's still being like, ora, 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 I'm a Yakuza in the year 2024 is either an idiot or just wants to use the situation to brag and stuff like that. So, literally nobody cared that this Yakuza got fucking murdered. Aikido is very choreographed. I think Aikido can be like semi-real against people that are extremely untrained and are just gonna run at you and fall around on the ground like a bunch of fucking idiots, but it's certainly not very real if you're going up against anybody who's, you know, not gonna trip over their own feet and shit. Pretty much every martial arts is fake when it goes up against someone with a slightly sharp object, so it's very easy to start these huge internet fights over which martial art is the most effective and real and stuff like that. And the truth is that if you actually get in a fight with someone, there's a very high chance that they might have some kind of weapon or find a improvised weapon on the ground. So you better hope your martial arts works. Jackie Chan is a CCP shiller now. I mean, if he wants to live in Hong Kong or China, he may as well. I wasn't following that, but who gives a fuck? The guy's like 80 years old at this point. I'm kind of done with all the old people. I think a lot of people feel that way after having like a 12-year stretch of Hillary, Trump, and Biden, and Bernie Sanders. I mean, everyone's so fucking excited for Kamala Harris because she's not an octogenarian. I know how that's how I feel about this shit. I'm just done with fucking old people. I don't want to see my heroes of my youth when I was 14 years old and watching VHS tapes during sleepovers, watching Legend of Drunken Master on a sleepover and stuff like that, and being like, "Yay, I love Jackie Chan," and he's like, what, 70? It's time to go away, old man, all of you. Yeah, he's fucking actually 70, so yeah. Back in the first UFC tournament, the answer is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, MMA right now is like a combination of like Judo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a combination and some kind of wrestling. You have to have like a little bit of grappling here, a little bit of striking there, enough core strength that you can't just be like pinned. I mean, that's MMA, right? I think it's unrealistic to be like, oh, just because it's MMA, that means it's the closest thing to an actual fight. For example, Judo is way more effective in real life against multiple people, like an actual fight environment, than it is against other martial artists in a ring, right? Because if you're going up against an amateur and you just grab them and throw them on the pavement and they go face first into the pavement, they're possibly just fucking dead, so... And if you're a martial artist, then you know how to roll and stuff. So most jiu-jitsu shit where you do a lot of throwing and kicking people off their feet is way more effective against fighting amateurs than it is against other martial artists. Ball versus 69 old people. I'd lose because they'd probably be driving. None of them will have given up their car keys, and they'd just be running over me and everybody, all the other pedestrians on the street. I'd be victim number one as I'm trying to jog on the sidewalk, and octogenarian, who's just like, I'm just as aware as a driver as I am in 1967, just runs me over. Getting mercilessly pinned down on the ground with your members and your headlock is horribly excruciating. But what if that develops into hot man-on-man sexo? What if the guy pins you to the mat with his powerful forearms and mercilessly sucks your cock? Have you ever considered that, huh? Oh, my shoulder? Yeah. Getting shown who the boss of the gym is. If you have strangulation fetish, maybe. I mean, if they're putting you in a chokehold, you're not getting strangled. You're going to pass out before you get strangled, right? You pass out way before you get strangled if they're properly doing a chokehold to you and they're cutting off the circulation. Hot loads. 6 hot loads. Old people should have their driver's license revoked at a certain age for their health. Old people should lose access to driver's license, guns, voting rights, a wide variety of things. For democracy's sake, we shouldn't allow old people to prioritize their rights over the rights of young people who are going to be the future of the country. That's why we'll never ever be able to touch Social Security, because we have more old people than young people. Old people should be in retirement homes, Kappa. I mean, they kind of should be, guys. It's all fun and games until you actually have to take care of your elders and start scooping their shit out with a spoon and stuff. My number one fear is that one of my parents gets a stroke or something, and I have to devote the next 20 years of my life taking care of them until they die. Fuck that. How about your mother? I mean, my mother's fine at the moment. I hope that I never have to take care of her. Every day I pray that my mother is on an international flight and the airplane is made by Boeing and it fucking explodes over the Atlantic and kills everyone inside, thus saving me from the horrible possibility that I have to take care of my mother in old age. I'm sorry, Mom, but I am absolutely terrified of being the primary caregiver. What the hell, Ball? I'm being serious, guys. There's nothing I fear more than declining in old health. I personally would definitely rather die in a fiery plane crash than watch myself go old and get dementia. People don't actually think about this shit, but these type of like horrific murders happen in Japan all the time, where like there's like a 70-year-old taking care of their 90-year-old parent, and eventually that they can't take care of, they can't handle taking care of their parent anymore, so they just kill them. It's like the dark truth of society that we don't want to talk about. What if she lives but is in a vegetative state? That's why I'm saying that I hope she dies with the Boeing explosion. I don't want to live in a vegetative state no matter what my age is. We all have to die. So my number one fear isn't death. My number one fear is getting stuck in like a semi-alive situation like that Metallica song. If she heard this, she would agree. We've talked about this before, considering she has to fly on Boeing. We're very sarcastic and cynical people. Going out with a bang, always the correct answer. And if it's Boeing's fault, then they have to pay me a shit ton of money. My second fear is that my mother doesn't give up her driver's license and runs over like 20 kids and stuff, so that's also a real possibility. Isn't modern Japanese culture as a whole already pretty dark? I mean, there's a place called Suicide Forest. I have a pro tip for you as a Japanese person. Japanese culture has always been dark, just like German culture. Just from primordial times, they're a mountainous island where you have these very small villages surrounded by the deep forest and mountains, and every part of the mountain that isn't like habitable for humans is like where the dark spirits and stuff live. A lot of stuff that you see in Japanese culture is like terrifying spirit shit. Like, do you guys know about kokeshi? You've probably seen them at least once if you play video games, where you have like the iyo Japanese stage. These things. Look how cute these things are. These things are dead fucking children, okay? You make them when your child dies in childbirth or before childbirth, or you abort them because you feel bad about your fucking dead children, and these dolls are everywhere. Yokai ain't got shit on my Appalachian mountain spirits. Are you sure those aren't like tweakers? I would assume that any spirits I encounter in Appalachia and America are just meth heads running a meth factory in the mountains or some shit. When BB gets old, we need to find Fountain of Youth so we can have infinite BB content forever. Don't worry, AI will be vastly improved by then, and you can just have a BB bot and it will be the same. Giga Kappa. Remember, guys, AI will just continue to improve at the current rate forever. If you just wait 20 more years, you'll be able to just generate your favorite AI movie perfectly tailored to your tastes. It will berate women and draw elves. Will it scream at us in chat and yell when MGR plays? Probably not. The corporation will own it, so they'll be like, this AI is too misogynistic. You'll get the neutered version of it. Instead of me being like, women are the worst things ever, they are a mistake of God, it'll be like, I love women. Also, I've had sex. Evil Ball be like, I like people. Yeah. This morning I was at Planet Fitness. I usually go to Planet Fitness at 3 a.m. so I don't have to deal with any other people when it's at its peak emptiness. But instead, I was having fun generating novel AI content, so I ended up going to Planet Fitness too late, and it was already like 6 a.m. So there's the entire crowd of people that are preparing to work out before they go to work. And as a result, it was like I was being gang fucked by the presence of other human beings. Everybody has their own personal space, right? Like, nobody's comfortable if some random sweaty guy is in an inch of your body and breathing down your neck. But some people need, you know, a foot. Other people need like 5 feet, 20 feet. In my case, I need an entire fucking block. When I'm jogging and I see someone walking on the sidewalk way up ahead of me, like if it's just a tiny speck in my, I don't know, 1.5 or so vision, I'm just like, oh, there's a person coming up the road. I'm going to move to the other side of the sidewalk so I don't have to walk by them. I just fucking hate being around people, guys. Evil Ball, only drawing Jack men. I mean, I like drawing Jack men. It's not that bad. That's not really Evil Ball, because that would imply that normal Ball is only drawing big titty women that aren't jacked or something, so... Your eyes have evolved into radars by your volition not to touch people. It was a habit that I started during the COVID pandemic, because you really didn't want to be near other people, right? And it just sort of stuck with me, and now I just make sure I never am around other people. And most of the time they're walking their dog, right? So it's an extra layer of awkwardness, because you never know if they've properly trained their dog in America. So there's always like a 5% chance that the dog is just gonna jump up on their leash and try to fucking maul you, because apparently there isn't any kind of mandatory law about having to properly train your dog in America, so half the dogs in this area are just fucking psychos. Walk in cemeteries, the only people around you are dead. Not true. There's live people in cemeteries. It's awful. Hystrixia herself has said that she would go to cemeteries to drink alcohol or party or smoke weed or whatever. There's cringe goths doing cringe goth behavior, and possibly some, people who are actually mourning their loved ones or something. Cemeteries aren't always empty. Do you think eating fruit off of a tree in cemetery is legal? Isn't it illegal in any situation if it's a private property? Isn't a fruit on a tree the belonging of the location's owners? I don't think it has anything to do with being a cemetery. She has probably done cringe stuff in a cemetery. She said she's done cringe stuff in a cemetery, but I don't think she thinks it's cringe. We've kind of given goths a pass with all the big titty goth mommy, dommy mommy meme, but honestly, they're in the same category as Shadow the Hedgehog and all the chuny, addicted teenagers who are like, I'm Baal the Hedgehog. It's extremely cringe behavior. It's probably legal, but it most likely soaked up someone's grandma. How is that different from normal fertilizer? We're just carbon, guys. It doesn't make any difference. Baal the autistic hedgehog. Don't tell me that you guys have forgotten my special powers. I'm gonna have to bring him up again. Baal the hedgehog. Here we go, guys. Age 2000 plus. Species hedgehog. A dark red hedgehog with blood red eyes and some dark blonde hair. White cloak, some sort of white bodysuit, a piece of fabric wrapped around his head, black boots, and a mask to cover his mouth. I can't even tell if he has a mask or not. Alignment, evil. Skills, advanced ninja techniques, swordplay, shooting as in beams of energy from his hands, stealth, secrecy. I'm definitely known for my secrecy skills, by the way. Nicknames, Mysterious Shadow, Mysterious incorrectly spelled, I'm not sure if this is on purpose or not. Heartless Assassin, Assassin also incorrectly spelled. Not sure, that's definitely not on purpose. Shinigami Ninja. Guys, if you don't call me Shinigami Ninja from here on going forward, I'm gonna show up and kill you. Don't make me unleash my power. Literally you? Oh my god, yes, I'm a 2,000-year-old evil hedgehog, guys. I haven't played a single game with Shadow the Hedgehog in it, by the way. Was anyone like a 9-year-old when Shadow the Hedgehog was first introduced? Does anyone have any memory of being that kind of tender age and encountering Shadow the Hedgehog and being like, holy shit, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen? Because I was definitely too old for Shadow the Hedgehog when he came out, which was kind of a shame. Baal, a 35-year-old severe autistic man, drew that. He's trying his best. Sounds basically the same as what I'm doing right now. This is my OC Dark Elf waifu. I played Sonic. Am I like to just run around? Yes. You're playing it correctly. Keep on running around at the speed of sound. I was never an edgelord. I'm still an edgelord. Tip, you drawing something cool and awesome, unlike Sonic, which isn't cool and awesome. Wrong. Sonic is cool and awesome, guys. You wouldn't understand. Oh, speaking of Sonic fandom, this isn't that related, but I have something that I just like to talk about. YouTube recommends me videos, so I watched a YouTube video recommended to me that was very popular in the past few hours. I think a lot of you can guess what it might be. It's just, I wanted to inform you guys that I know this is going to be really hard to hear, but Mr. Beast, I'm afraid that he might not be a good person. I know you're all like, no, that's impossible. Mr. Beast is my hero. There's no way a person whose entire business is built on forcing people to do stupid shit so they can get money could be a sociopath. But I saw the video on it. I was actually not aware enough about Mr. Beast's full economic model, so I didn't know to what percentage he was faking the giveaways and stuff, but the answer is quite a bit, I guess. Never seen a full Mr. Beast video? I tried to watch a full Mr. Beast video, and I gave up after about, I don't know, 15 minutes. It was too cringe. For real, my god, has anyone ever looked at his shitty smile and his shitty ass thumbnails? If you actually watch the videos, he's even more cringe in the video than he is in the thumbnail, somehow. He keeps on saying shit during giveaways like, oh my god, guys, our producers keep on telling us that, haha, we have to stop giving you these crazy merch. We're gonna go broke. We're not making any money, guys. Yeah, he's one of those types. But this whole most recent backlash against Mr. Beast just got me thinking about a broader thing. Because the videos complaining about Mr. Beast were pointing out that a lot of his audience is children. Right? Obviously it is. And I just started to think of a new theory, which is it's actually very normal for you as a grown adult to not like children. We're told by society that the standard situation of your mentality should be you just like being around kids, right? But if you think about how people actually are, children are loud, they piss and shit themselves. They don't care about your feelings. They don't accommodate you. Being around kids is a lot of work. Even parents who have like a genetic motivator to take care of their own kids can't fucking stand being around their kids during summer vacation, so they send them off to like summer camp and shit, right? So I think it's pretty normal to not like kids just from an objective, rational standpoint, even though we pretend that we all are supposed to like kids. Based on this theory, grown adults who like kids, that should be like a real red flag if you think about it. Like, sure, there's probably a lot of daycare workers, female daycare workers and stuff, who just legitimately have the ability to like children. But if you think about, like, all these other professions where grown adults are like, oh boy, I sure love being around these noisy, annoying kids, like, at least 50% of those people end up being, like, professional pedophiles, or in this case of Mr. Beast, they're preying on kids so that the kids will spend their parents' money and give them more money, right? I mean, there's just an endless number of examples like this. You know, from Catholic Church to school teachers, etc., etc., etc. And another red flag should be grown adults who are interested in children's media as well. I'm talking about you, Nintendo toddlers. Smash players, Smash community, trading card game players, all of those. If you're a parent and there's a grown adult who's like, my hobby is Pokemon, you should not be leaving your kid with them, because that's not normal. The fact that I am at risk of seeing a 14-year-old's opinion at any time of the day on the internet is a human rights violation. I just want to watch my Naruto videos in peace without seeing other teenagers' Naruto fan fiction and shit, alas. What about MTG? MTG is for old ancient nerds, so it's slightly better. I'm sure there's a younger fan base there somewhere, but MTG is for people that have $30,000 just lying around in their house so they can buy a Black Lotus or something. It's the Pokemon TCG and Yu-Gi-Oh! Where I think it gets more dangerous, probably. Pokemon obviously being the most dangerous. The childish obsession rarely overrides adult sexual desires, which is the risk. Even autists and mentally handicapped people get horny. Or they're specifically putting themselves in that situation because it gives them more access to children. It's not just them being autistic and liking the content. They're calculating their position to be able to do that. You know, like every Roblox creator, everybody who's making video games on Roblox is just being like, hey kids, aw gee, I sure love making children's video games. Is this a stepsister dark elf? Yes. This is the stepsister dark elf. There's a mix of people that just fall into it and people that go out of their way to seek out children. Yep. So in the case of Mr. Beast, at least he's doing that, seeking out children so he can fucking scam them into believing that they're gonna win $10,000 as long as they buy $500 of his merchandise, which isn't as bad as Mr. Beast molesting them directly, but it's in the same genre. And then of course he has the scandal brewing with one of his employees constantly contacting minors, so I think this theory holds up pretty well. Will there be a character that's a darker elf? No. Oh. It takes so much effort from this stage of this page to make it look finished, because you have to add like a bunch of hatching and gray areas and a bunch of extra stuff. There's so much extra shit you have to add. Oh. It's not fair. She looks like a cat in the bottom left panel. She has a cat-like nature. She's sadistic and fickle. She has a kitsune face and a cat-like nature. And Aubrey is the opposite. She has a tanuki face and dog-like nature. They're the two sides of the same coin. Can dark elves get tans? No. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't thought about this yet. I'm going to say yes, actually. You need to have a scene when you get the beach episode where she asks you to rub on the suntan lotion onto her back. Sexo. Also, yeah, I'm going to say because they live underground all the time, their gray skin isn't the melanin gray or brown for absorbing light. It's there as natural camouflage for the cave walls, so that they're actually weak against sunlight. They're creatures of darkness, so yeah, I'm gonna say that they do get tan, or maybe they burn easily or something. They need their suntan lotion. Have you seen Sithis from Dungeon Meshi? I've only read Dungeon Meshi up to 2 volumes. I like it, but the female energy was too much for me. How many layers you got, Holmes? As many as I want. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to merge down when I'm done with the picture. So if I draw a hand, I'll put the hand on a layer. If I draw an arm, I'll put the arm on a layer, and then I can just like rotate them separate of the rest of the figure as much as I want. It saves a lot of time if I'm going to want to make small adjustments to limbs and stuff like that. So every single element of the picture, whether it's like eyes, nose, hair, a leg, part of the shading, part of the sofa, I just put it on a new layer. And then when I'm done, I just merge everything down. No reason to be treat layers like they're some special resource or anything. Just dump it. Will there be any regular elves? There'll be a few, but not many. This is a dark elf franchise. Filthy regular elves go home. Did you see the earless cat image from Chainsaw Man? Yes. It's not as crazy as you might think, but sure. Honestly, I feel like action shit in the Chainsaw Man universe is the least interesting part of Chainsaw Man. The most I've been impressed by Fujimoto Tatsuki is in the first 2 episodes of Chainsaw Man Part 2, in which he introduces Asa and what a fucking pathetic spurg she is, and how she always fucks up and can't do anything right. That's when I was like, damn, he's so good at this. The way in which she feels like incapable of properly communicating with the class is just like, it's just perfect. He's a very good observer of human behavior. How did he get into a girl's head like that? I mean, it's not like a boy-girl thing. It's just a Japanese socialization thing, where everybody else in the class seems to be properly on the same page, and you're like, wait, is something wrong with me? I think everybody in Japan has felt that way at some point in their life, because it's such a conformist society. I know it's a stereotype, and there are some situations in which it's not a conformist society, and America is more of a conformist society, but in the type of like schoolroom type situations, it definitely is. Have you checked out Sakamoto Days? I don't read stuff that I can't read for free on Jump Plus on their website. So things that are in the magazine I don't read. I heard that Sakamoto Days is good because it has good action, and that's it. It doesn't really have anything besides good action, is what I've heard. Which, you know, it's not that uncommon. Sakamoto Days is made for Sakuga action? Yeah, I would assume so. The art for a weekly manga is very nice. How the fuck do people shit out that many pages every week? I know the answer is assistance, but still. It took me like a month to grind out 15 pages and then I feel exhausted and I still have 15 more pages to go. It's crazy how you have to be both like a superhuman in terms of drawing, being able to construct a plot, and then also be a superhuman in terms of your resilience and being able to, you know, never get sick, never have a day in which you don't feel like you don't want to draw. I mean, part of the problem is that this is all the fault of Tezuka Osamu, who was like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do it weekly, and I don't give a fuck, you know. What the hell? I thought I had selected this entire thing like this. Gotta have that dog in ya. I don't think working yourself to death is having that dog in ya, but whatever, if you guys say so. It's pretty disheartening if you feel like if it was your dream to be a mangaka because you wanted to be able to produce manga and then you realize you have to basically be working yourself to death. Everyone's saying that Jump is finished now that My Hero Academia is done. But I don't know. They'll find somebody else. They always do. Eventually everything will be done in Japan because their population will go to 0, but for a while they'll still be fine. Because they're top of the hill, so people are always going to want to draw for them. They just don't have that kind of insane talent that they had in the 90s, which is just abnormal. It's okay, your manga's there to pick up the mantle. I'm never going to be able to shit out 16 pages to 23 pages a week ever, so... If I ever publish something under the name of Jump, it's going to be monthly or every other week like they have on the website. Most likely, even that is seems a little unrealistic right now. Series today can't slow roll a manga. It's either make it good in the first 10 or they get canceled. I mean, 10's pretty long, if you ask me. I don't know, man. If a manga can't capture my interest in the first 2 pages, I'm fucking dropping it. I don't think people should have to give that much time to their entertainment before it gets good. If you can make something good, you should make it good immediately. Don't be a fucking pussy and wait around forever. Get hired at Jump, get as many assistants as possible, hypnotize them to perfectly copy your work, keep the charade of doing stuff on your own until you retire, profit. You really do have to have assistants. A lot of them. 4 or 5 minimum if you want to do weekly. There's no point in pretending otherwise. Undead Unlock's first 100 chapters or so are essentially introduction. It's always been good, but it really picks up afterwards. There's a difference between picking up and getting canceled. You have to be above a certain level of entertainment. I think the fastest that a Shonen Jump manga has been canceled was a manga called Chagecha, which was 8 weeks. It was a sequel to, or not a sequel, but it was the next series after the author of Bobobo Bobobobo. And it had like similar type of jokes, except everything was like the same in a bad way. It didn't evolve in any way, and it just got canceled after 8 weeks. So it's still considered among many circles to be the ultimate cancellation manga in terms of like speed records. On the other hand, there's other, if you're counting other genres of cancellation, we recently had a isekai manga that got canceled after its first episode because it featured characters based on the most popular isekai franchises without getting permission from the original IP holders of those franchises. And as a result, everyone was like, is this going to be okay? Did Kadokawa get permission for this? And it turns out they didn't. And they were like, the editors were like, yeah, we're just going to cancel it. I think Build King from the Toriyoko author was also canceled pretty quickly. I think it made it past like 10 weeks or so. It's very rare for Jump manga to not make it past like 10 or 12 weeks because they usually get at least 1 volume of manga. You still get a manga to be published for you. Dirty Dragon is still going on despite the hiatus. I don't know, Dirty Dragon keeps on showing up at the top of the weekly rankings when I open up the Shonen Jump website when it's there. So I guess someone's reading it. I read a few episodes of it, and it's not my thing. It would probably be one of those my things if I read it when I was in high school or something. I'd be like, this isn't like other manga. This isn't shonen. This feels so new, but in my current age, it doesn't really appeal to me. More stuff was leaked from Netflix. The League of Legends show Arcane had 5 episodes leaked. Oh no. Please don't spoil what happens to my favorite League of Legends characters, guys. Hashtag spoilers. Don't spoil what happens to this series that doesn't have any canon lore. Oh no. Yeah, that also, the series that all the character designs are done by poorly paid Tumblr artists without any kind of communication or director that is trying to make sure that there's a unified art style. So there's weird steampunk and shit right next to other like weird ass night themes, and it's just like a horrible vomit of different colors and themes and stuff, and it looks like ass. Yeah, don't spoil that for me, guys. I really, really, really want to watch that TV show without getting spoiled. Not even game is canon to the lore. Yeah, canon is kind of stupid. Let's be honest, guys. It only matters for franchises that are very strongly kept intact, like House of Dragon, George R.R. Martin shit. The truth is the author can't keep track of all these different ideas. Only the nerds actually care about being like, actually, sir, I'll have you know that in Star Wars Episode 2, Anakin says that he enjoys the sand, actually. Mishmash of aesthetics can be cool. It can be cool. I wouldn't say League of Legends mishmash of aesthetics is cool. I think it looks awful. There might be one or two people here that are like, nah, I like League of Legends character designs, but I absolutely fucking hate them. Dota character designs don't bother me. Other Riot Games character designs don't bother me. I don't like them either, but League's character designs I fucking hate. Don't like them at all. Not my thing. Can you imagine having to consult the community wiki of your own IP because you forgot some detail you made? LMAO. I started playing around with Novel AI last night, actually. And let me tell you, it has all these tools for remembering the different details of characters and shit like that. And I've only written like 4 chapters worth of my succubus fuck fantasy, and already I'm forgetting my own characters' names and stuff. Because of people who grew up on the aesthetic now worth there and design characters based off of that mesh aesthetic design philosophy with Californian avocado sensibilities. The Californian avocado sensibilities are the problem. Old man ball. I mean, it's because I'm using like fantasy names that have vaguely different spellings is the problem. Like instead of someone being named Kyle, you spell it instead of Kyle, you spell it like Kaylee or some shit like that, right? You want to make it seem exotic, so you're not talking to a Midwesterner, and instead, then every single time you want to type the character's name, you have to bring up your fucking character sheet because you forgot whether it's like 2 E's or 1 A or whatever. What's the end goal of this fanfic? The end goal of this fanfic is for me to get the joy of playing Dungeons and Dragons, except not having to join a party to do it. I want to enjoy the feeling of going on a fantasy adventure with infinite possibilities, which are being presented to me by the AI, without having to deal with a dungeon master that is unprepared for me to make, you know, some kind of role-playing moves and shit. Also, you can't be like, I pull out my cock in your Dungeon and Dragon campaign if you don't have like a lot of trust with your other members, right? You can't be like, I'm going to start doing erotic roleplay. That's the huge weakness of Dungeons and Dragons, is that there's other people there, so you can't fully go fantasy gratification mode. There's always like a social element of you having to think about the feelings of the other people of the party, and you don't get to be the main character at all times. You don't get to hog the spotlight. So let's just say that you're playing an orc barbarian, and your buddy Kyle is playing a dwarf fighter, and for some reason someday you're just like, I'm role-playing, which is why my orc barbarian is going to pin down your dwarf fighter and start sucking his dick. And then now you have to start doing erotic roleplay, gay erotic roleplay in front of like all the other members of the session. It's very awkward. So if you're not, you can't really do what you want to do, right? Not that I would ever want to do that because I'm completely heterosexual. But with novel AI, I can have my orc cock-sucking fantasies as much as I want. AI Dungeon became porn generators immediately. Novel AI is also porn generator immediately. There's no reason to not use it as porn generator. It does porn pretty well. It doesn't have any bans on not safe for work content. It's fine. Ball, you are a beta femboy. Just take out your cock, and if someone complains, ejaculate on them. Yeah, this is why my Dungeons and Dragons group doesn't invite me back to their sessions for some reason. For some reason, they weren't happy when I just started coming all over the table. AI Dungeon got censored, if I remember correctly, but people were able to make it work or something. Yeah. Was AI Dungeon completely free, or did you have to pay for it? Because in order to actually generate shit in novel AI, you have to give them $10 per month. I'm not going to continue to subscribe forever, but I thought I'd just play around with it to see the capabilities it has. I'll probably just lose interest after about a month or so, so it's not like I'm going to continue to pay novel AI $10 per month in perpetuity. It was free at first. Well, they're always free at first, right? And then they have to start paying for their server costs, so... Hiss kicked you out? Yeah. In reality, I jumped because I couldn't stand learning a new system. The DM got tired of doing 5th edition, which is a perfectly good reason to not want to do it anymore. However, that means that I have to memorize a whole new system. And the DM wanted to do a Dragon Age role-playing, like the video game Dragon Age, but they have a tabletop version of it. And as I was trying to remember how it works, I was just like, this is exactly the same as 5th edition. The things that you're gonna end up doing are exactly the same. You just have slightly different mechanics for rolling the dice and shit. It's not like Call of Cthulhu or some shit where, like, whatever action you take, you're gonna go insane and die. It's just a different version of 5th edition, and I just couldn't motivate myself to learn, you know, all the different scenarios in which you dodge versus which you have armor points and all that stupid shit. Some people just love memorizing new systems, but I'm not one of them. Did your character die of liver failure? Nobody's character died. One of my big complaints with the Dungeon Master was that he would never set the difficulty level high enough that we would actually be in real danger of death, unfortunately. So there wasn't that much narrative tension about perhaps our characters dying either. It was free at first and got flooded with users. Everybody just wants porn, guys. We all just want our digital porn waifu that loves us unconditionally. And then we're just going to overload the servers whenever we find some free way in which to create our digital android waifu and do erotic roleplay with her. I still think you would make for a good DM. I agree. A good dungeon master has to not be caring about his players' feelings. If they do stupid shit, he has to be willing to let them kill themselves. If they challenge the strongest knight in the land, then he has to prepare an encounter where the knight is like level 25 and can attack 6 times in one round or something. And if the entire party dies because of it, that's their own fault. That's what brings verisimilitude to your Dungeons and Dragon world. I think I'd be really good with that. Because, you know, I'm a sociopath. The main issue in battles with my DM is our buddy's shitty werewolf barbarian shitty dice if he loses control or not. You should say that it should be more role-playing based, whether he loses control or not. I feel like that's more of a role-playing character thing instead of a random chance. If it was me, I would make it so if the flow of the story felt like he wasn't going to be able to control it anymore, then he would lose control, and I'd say, like, no. You have to give him, I think everybody should get a lot of chances to roleplay their way out of situations. It's all fun until Ball starts making goblin encounters regular. Look, I wouldn't have to keep on introducing so many goblins if you guys didn't keep on using them as Ona holes. Just stop fucking the goblins, guys. I know it's very difficult, but just show some restraint and don't fuck the goblins for once. Actually, that's another thing. You probably shouldn't have many encounters where there's like 30 enemies. That's another thing. That's just a pain in the ass. Even if the guidebook is like, these goblins are a challenge level 2, so you should put in like 15 of them. It's like, no, you actually shouldn't. Instead, you should put in like 4 enemies that all have higher challenge levels. Minion fights are not fun. If you're doing like pack tactics minion fights with goblins or kobolds and stuff, make them slightly stronger and keep their number below 8 or so. I think. I would join a ball group. Me too. I don't have time to be doing that shit, unfortunately. I would also definitely do a homebrew world. I would not use a pre-made campaign, even if it takes me a lot of time, because what's the point of that? You don't want to be at the mercy of Wizards of the Coast. I remember this guy's rant over not being able to bang any short stacks like dwarves or goblins in Baldur's Gate 3. If you were in my D&D campaign, you would definitely be allowed to bang them. Not only would you be allowed, it would be encouraged by society. There would be a huge philosophical debate over whether you should be allowed to use short stacks as Ona holds or not. And the opposition would be like, this is why we have a goblin problem in the first place. If humans would just stop impregnating these things. And the other humans would be like, but they're so convenient. You can use a pre-made as a base. You always have to be ready to adopt and like put in new things. That's how I look at it. I know it's easy for me to talk this shit because it's not like I have to prepare the game. I'm not actually running it, but if your players can't feel like they can just do whatever they want without you being like, hold on, give me 20 minutes to prepare like the correct encounter or something that's not in the guidebook, then it's probably not going to be that much fun. It's just going to be playing arithmetic with dice. Will there be a female goblin character in your manga? Maybe. We're still in chapter 2. I have no idea how far I'm going to get. It won't be a main part of the group, though. I'm not a huge fan of short stacks, not going to lie. I prefer my women to be bigger than me instead of smaller, if possible. FBI-san. I am innocent. Please don't arrest me. Goblin with gigatits. I also don't like gigatits either. You should know that by now. I'll leave them a tasteful H or J cup. Tall woman with short hair. Tall woman, short hair, big boobs, wide waist. Childhood friend. Oh, big orc mommy. I want to climb the mountain. Alright guys, I'm going to end the stream here. I have to do a lot more finishing of this page off stream. I guess I could work on Zenless Zone Zero a bit. That pick. But, good night guys. See you around next stream. Good night.